Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Game On. I'm Nick.
And I'm John. So the next review is the new Zelda, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be great.
I don't know. I don't really play Zelda, but I feel like they're all kind of the same. There's not anything new.
Well, this one tries things a bit differently. You should check it out.
All right.
After going the route of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, for the past few years, Nintendo has finally taken a step in a new direction with The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. The first entry in the Zelda series for the 3DS, it is also the most ambitious entry in the franchise since Majora's Mask, and a sure sign that future titles won't be getting stale anytime soon. A Link Between Worlds is a direct sequel to the Super Nintendo classic A Link to the Past, putting you in control of a new Link. When a new threat appears, turning the Kingdom of Hyrule's 7 sages into paintings and taking them to the alternate dimension of Lorule, Link must journey between both kingdoms to save them and restore balance between the worlds. The biggest change in the game is that every single weapon is available right off the bat at a rental shop instead of in dungeons. This lets you tackle any dungeon in the order of your choice, and this breaks the mold of the series set by A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, and also breathes fresh new life into the series by challenging players to choose their own path and inventory. If you fall in combat, however, you lose your items and must rent them again. Another new feature is Link's ability to turn into a drawing, letting him walk horizontally across walls to enter cracks and windows, and cross over gaps. While a bit odd at first, it is a welcome addition to the puzzle solving in dungeons, and never feels like a simple gimmick. Aesthetically, the game looks and feels seamless, beautifully recreating the look of A Link to the Past. The soundtrack is old and new, with a lot of remixes from previous games. One of the coolest things is the Milk Bar, where you can pay 10 rupees to hear a song from the game played by bards with a guitar and flute. There's also competitive multiplayer, letting you battle other players in the form of Shadow Links. All in all, this is a title that celebrates old and new without feeling forced or cheap. If you're a fan of adventure games, this is a must-have. We give The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds 9.5 likes out of 10. So what did you think of the review?
I don't know. I think it looks really cool. Like, I think the kind of blending into the wall as like a painting stuff, I think that's really cool for different like puzzle stuff.
At first it struck me as a little too gimmicky and campy, you know. Oh, he turned into, and then you see the drawing of Link, and you're like, really, that's what he turns into. Yeah. But it's really useful.
I think if they use it right, it could be really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then I'm glad they're finally shaking things up.
Yeah.
Like, Zelda has more or less been the same game every single thing. Like, it's the same sort of progression and the same.
You go into a dungeon, you get the item. You go to the next dungeon, which uses that item. But now with the rental shop, you can do any dungeon with any item you want.
Yeah, it definitely. There's also no more bombs. Like, well, there's bombs, but like you don't have to keep like a bomb stock anymore. You don't have to keep.
Right. You don't have to like worry about like using your last bomb and then having to thread your way through the dungeon to go get more bombs.
Yeah. So it's like, it might be more simplified just because you just get everything and then it's just there. But at the same time, I feel like any change, if it's not like a change for the worse, like if it's not making the game terrible, like I'm totally open for it, especially from Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree with you. There's not much more to say about that. The Nintendo that I love is the Nintendo that breeds innovation, and lately, before this next generation, they have been a little uninspired.
Yeah. Well, I think here to talk about Nintendo is Nintendo superfan Alex Prekop.
How you doing?
How are you doing, Alex?
Pretty good.
So Nintendo's position right now, how do you think they're doing?
I think with the mainstream gamers and a lot of their fans, they're not doing so great because their market, they're trying to be for everyone. They're trying to appeal for the family. They're trying to be in everyone's household, like how they used to be, but because their company is mostly in Japan and they don't really follow with Sony and Microsoft, they're not really listening to what people really want.
I think
the issue with them wanting to be for everyone is the fact that there isn't really an everyone anymore. The world is really split into all these little like sub-communities and sub-genres and niches, and they haven't really caught on to the fact that while Mario and Link and all their hits, you know, Legend of Zeldas and all that, have wide mass appeal, they need to focus a little bit more. They can, you know, afford to make, you know, Zelda a little, you know, different.
I think the Wii U, the thing with the Wii U is that with the Wii, whether, the hardcore gamers want to admit it or not, they kind of struck gold with the Wii because it was so simple that you go into like senior citizen homes, like retirement homes, and they have Wii's hooked
Sports.
up because Wii Sports is so easy to play and it's so like intuitive, like you swing the remote like a racket. So everyone knows how to play Wii Sports. Like it's not difficult. With the Wii U, there was like a lot of like brand confusion where people thought it was just like a Wii accessory. It's too complicated for like
Senior
the people.
citizens.
Yeah, it's too complicated for the people that really got into the Wii, but not powerful enough for like the people out there that really want those kind of pushing the boundaries games. So it's like I don't know who the Wii U is supposed to be for.
I don't think Nintendo does either, because I feel the tablet, if you actually play with it, it's really comfortable. It's so much fun to use it for like games like when they redid Wind Waker, Wonderful 101. It works really well having a second map and things like that. Yeah. But with the Wii, they at least gave a little bit of a direction point with Wii Sports that kind of showed them. Showed like EA, Capcom, Sega. This is what you do with the Wii. This is how the Wii plays. The game they had for here was Nintendo Land, which nobody played or cared about because
it's a mini game collection.
It's a mini game collection, and it doesn't even use the tablet. It uses the Wii remotes more than the tablet.
Yeah.
So
some of them do use the tablet.
like
right?
3 of them.
There's like kind of.
I do have a
the Metroid
question
one does.
on their game lineup though. Do they have anything in the works for like our demographic, like specifically our demographic, not aiming at nostalgia?
Well,
yes, there is Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
There's a game currently called X, which is by Monolith Soft. They did Xenoblade.
Is that the giant robot one?
Yeah, you can pilot a giant robot that can turn to an aircraft and a ski.
Always love giant robots.
Looks like an open world game. It looks really fun.
I'm kind of iffy on the idea of Bayonetta 2. I loved Bayonetta, but I think it is good as a one-off, and then they could use that kind of idea and model and make a new game with new content. Because I feel like it will run the risk of ending up being tired. Like you go in there and you're like, oh, this is Bayonetta 1.5 instead of Bayonetta 2.
I agree with you, but the thing is, the creator of Bayonetta 2 did Wonderful 101. That was his new game. He said he didn't make the sequel because he wanted other people to be more to work with the sequel, and he could be more creative with his own ideas. So if they keep Platinum Games there, which the creator of Platinum Games said, I would love to be bought by Nintendo, if they did that, they would be set. They have the demographic lineup all there.
Bayonetta 2 also looks really good.
It looks fantastic.
It looks so good, but I really want it to come to platforms that aren't Wii U because I want to play Bayonetta 2, but I don't want to buy a console.
So I wanted to talk about that because there's a lot of people saying Nintendo should go third party, which I don't agree with, because people say it's great because they get to play their games, but Nintendo said something that I agree with, that Nintendo wouldn't be Nintendo if it wasn't on their hardware. It's Sega's jump kind of killed them.
I think they're shooting themselves in the foot with that, because instead of like solidifying, they don't have a solid fan. They do have a solid fan base under 21. They have a very solid fan base there. But I used to be part of that fan base, and I'm pretty sure John used to be at least somewhat part of it, right? Yeah, we used to be part of that fan base, but I don't want to support Nintendo through the Wii U because I already have other ways of playing games, and I want to be able to play Nintendo games not exclusively on Nintendo. Microsoft on Xbox, they shot themselves in the foot with their lack of their complete exclusivity. So
yeah,
I feel like if they did have multiple platforms, it could work potentially, but I don't think they should stop doing hardware.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning into Game On. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Alex.
And be sure to game on.
Oh yeah.